Hello and welcome to the May edition of Out and About Art, the show where you get a recap of just a few of the art events that have been happening around Polk County. Last month, Polk State College utilized its many locations in the Lake Wales area to put on its annual Jewel of the Ridge Jazz Festival. Featuring a lineup of student and professional musicians, they all came together to celebrate their love of jazz music, and it all came to a close with a two-day festival-style concert right here on the shore of Lake Wales. Take a look at a recap from the event.
This is our third year for the Jazz Festival, sponsored by Polk State College.
We start on Wednesday and go through Sunday, so I mean there's several days, and we also have the advantage of having different locations.
How the festival came about was the brainchild of our previous director, Mr. Osha B. Craig, along with his team. And we just felt that there was a need, one, to expose our students, who are our music department, to another form of jazz externally, outside, with some headliner acts. Given that there was not a jazz festival that was being hosted in this area, we thought, well, it's ripe for the pickings, and great that Polk State College is here in two locations, Lake Wales Arts Center as well as here in the JDA building. And so what we typically try to do is just kind of look at the various artists that are involved and look at what will be a good fit for our students and for our community. We also like to partner our students, our Jazz Society, through our music department, which is led by Mr. John Anderson and Mr. Don West, that allows our students to be exposed to different artists that they'll have the opportunity to see this weekend as well.
Well, the Polk State College Jazz Society is the premier jazz combo of Polk State College. When the previous director of the Lake Wales Fine Arts Center here had the idea to develop a jazz festival, he and I spoke about some ways in which we can incorporate the student musicians into the performing schedule. And it was basically initially an inquiry: do you have student groups that perform jazz? And obviously the answer was yes, and so we were able to feature the jazz combo, and we also have a 18-piece big band. And so right away it was a perfect fit to showcase the talents of the students at Polk State College in a festival that is branded by Polk State College.
It's really cool. Through the year and through last year, we had special guests come in and work our jazz band and work our combo. And it's just definitely something to hear professionals tell us, hey, what if you take it like this? What if you do it like this? And then getting to hear them afterwards, how they're playing and how their groups are playing together. It really helps us get to be a better group.
I think it's important for the college because it broadens the knowledge, it broadens the scope, and we have the opportunity to influence some young minds. They have a phenomenal charter school system, and for us to be able to partner with them and take artists into the schools to present one-day workshops or mini workshops, or talk to artists that may be in residency, they would normally have that opportunity. And so that's important to our institution, because we are also part of shaping the minds of the next generation. We cannot thank the Polk Museum of Art enough for the phenomenal art that is being displayed in our gallery through May 13th. It was another brainchild, another example of taking our festival to another level, to allow folk to come in and see the art that's being exhibited in the gallery. Adam and his team came, and during our spring break we all worked and got all this art loaded in and hung, and it's absolutely beautiful. Some of the best that I've seen, and it's very colorful, different variations of art, abstracts. You have to see it for yourself.
It's awesome that the university and the Arts Center support this festival and are exposing people who might not otherwise have seen some of these groups and some of these styles in the community. I think it really, that's what cultural outreach and cultural uplifting the community is all about, exposing people to things they may not have seen, and hopefully they come away inspired and it's something they latch onto for the future.
The memories that they can take back and remember and reflect on their days here at Polk State, that they had the opportunity to participate in concerts that are presented by such great acts. It is my hope and belief that it's something that they will take with them for the rest of their lives. Because how often do you get to hear and participate on the same stage as well-renowned artists such as this? One of the comments, one of the things that resonated with me was that this is the best thing that could have happened to this community. And so I'm going to take that as he meant, one, Polk State being here, and then Polk State being such a visionary to be able to bring the arts to this part of Polk County, and for free for the community, for our students, for people to broaden their base knowledge as it relates to music, theater, exhibits, that probably, I don't know, not being from here, but I would surmise that it wasn't at this level if it was here at all.
Being in such a small, tight-packed county, you don't hear it a lot, hearing a lot of good jazz, so it's really, really cool being able to see that, without having to travel so far to hear good jazz. There's definitely programs that have really good jazz, and then getting these outside artists to come in for us to learn from, it helps us tremendously, especially at Polk State. Again, with a growing program that we are, it's good for us to have a good example to listen to.
It's a special opportunity, and it's very cool that the university and the sponsors involved and everybody come up with the funding to present some really high quality music for the students to see that may not otherwise have seen, and hopefully will give them a little inspiration to grow themselves,
For the people in a county like Polk County, where it has such a broad age, representation. I mean, we have a lot of retirees here. We have a lot of families, a lot of young people, and I think it's something that can reach all the ages and all, all the different demographics you could break it down to. I mean, I think especially with music, it is a very common language, and to be able to do it through Polk State College, which is a very important entity in the county within itself. I just think it again, going back to quality of life, it just adds to the charm of Polk County to be able to have such great arts here at Polk State College.
The festival was a weekend full of fun for everybody, and if you missed it this time, I highly recommend you catching it next year. It was the 3rd annual event, and I hope to see it continuing on for many years to come. The Polk State College Lake Wales Art Center also regularly hosts music events throughout the year, so be sure to keep up with what they have going on their website. Late last year, local artist Steven Chayt made the news when he built a 24-foot chair in his backyard, a project he'd been dreaming up for years. Over the course of building the chair, he gained a strong following through social media and word of mouth. Now, the chair's finished, and I caught up with Steven to find out more about the chair and how his vision became a reality.
I'm an artist emerging from a long, sleepy hiatus where I did lots of other things, coming from the 1970s down to now. Once I retired, I decided that I would pick up where I left off. And one of the last things that I had proposed to do but never did was the ho-ho chair. I had made a mock-up in 1992, and I made one for myself, and I made one for a friend of mine who collects most of my work. It's just a simple chair with a hole in the seat. It's got what we called the catcher, a clown with a black circle, and underneath here was a phrase, "Put your trust here." And I decided that I would go ahead and investigate building it full size. I didn't know what full size meant exactly, but I knew I wanted it bigger than this. The short answer is, I don't know what it means. The long answer is that it has been a good jumping off point for lots of stuff, including when I started thinking about an explanation for it. It was something that I had the idea to do it. The idea did not include a whole lot of explanation. I meant the whole thing to be challenging, and I meant it to be, to balance off the seriousness that I really think about the piece and the, say, playfulness, silliness. It's not a joke against someone, but it is kind of comical. I like the idea of having very serious art based on jokes, and I've got lots of examples in my work that are like that. The artist Marcel Duchamp has been a very important inspiration for me for my entire career as an artist. He was kind of the godfather of what they call conceptual art, idea art. He's done a lot of things that both challenge people, and this is way back in the 19-teens, before World War I. So I wanted to do something connecting it with him. For 20 years before his death, he had been working on a major piece that nobody knew about. And this major piece was installed at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And I've been going to see that piece, Étant Donné, for years and years and years and years. And so I thought, here's a piece that's not going to move. It's permanently installed in the museum. It's not like something that, like a painting or even a sculpture that can be moved around. This is a permanent installation. So I knew it wasn't moving. So what I decided to do is I decided to take the chair and relate it directly to that Étant Donné. So how do you do that? One of the things about Duchamp is that all of his work, early work, he had to do with kind of his misunderstanding of science. He, like a lot of people back then, were interested in what they call the fourth dimension. And he did a lot of pieces based on kind of weird science, what he called playful science. So I wanted to do something like that too, to pay homage to him. So I decided to build a transport device that would take anyone who dropped through the hole to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. I thought, well, that's brilliant, that's wonderful. How much fun can you have with that? And so all I had to do is take my chair, and I put my chair in relationship to the Étant Donné in the museum, and I could come up with a kind of a story, a fairy tale, as it were, of that. So that experience is what I've been working on. I experimented with making a film, and that film gives the person's experience, what would it feel like to get into a capsule and take off and end up in the museum. And that's what the piece has become. Now it took us a long time to really figure out how to position it. We had to get GPS, and I went up to Philadelphia and I got the exact location of the place that I wanted to point it to. This is real. I went there and did that. This is not just, telling the story. I really did it. And then we came down here and we found this one. We went on Google Maps and we set up a line. Now, I'm not sure that if you were to actually throw a laser from here, if I would hit Philadelphia, but I'm hoping that I would, and I'm assuming that I would. I mean, I tried everything I could to do it, and we really had that thing set up that way. There has been an incredible number of people who, from the very beginning, just stick in there. They really supported it. It was great.
It's really outstanding. If you know Mr. Chayt, then you know that it's exactly something that he would do. It's artistic and crazy like he is. He's very out there with his artwork, and if you just personally know him, then you're like, wow, that definitely is Mr. Chayt.
I kept hearing about the project, hearing about the updates. We would get updates from IMAG, the academy we're in, and I would listen for how it's going. I would look at pictures and I'd be like, oh my gosh, he's really doing this thing.
I never asked the question how everyone always asks, like why? What's the point? Why are you making this? I found it more exciting because like when you look at certain pieces of art, you kind of like have the answer. Like you understand maybe why the artist did it and like what it's already about. But with this, it's like it's so open to interpretation, you know?
You know, that's the great thing about Mr. Chayt, that you learn from him at all times. Whether you're in school or not. You know, he introduced me to a new work of art, a new vision, a new artist, and I think that's really important for people like that to be in the community and share their knowledge, with others and teach them, about different things and explore the arts.
It's just so like awe-inspiring to know that like him and I and a few others were able to build something so massive, and it all started from this small miniature size sail.
I understand that a sculpture like this large, can be out of place maybe here in a residential neighborhood, but I think that's the beauty of it. The fact that he has a chance to express himself and do something, and it is in his property. I feel it adds a really nice addition to what people can offer, and especially here in Polk County, it's just a new outlet, something more to share with the community.
I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him for getting the chance to do what he's always wanted to do.
I'm hoping that the chair and other pieces that I'm doing will kind of kickstart my career as an artist around here. It wasn't until like a year and a half ago that I had the time to really devote to just being an artist. But even though I think I have a unique thing to say with my work, and I think my art is interesting and so forth, I know very little about how the art world has evolved. So I'm hoping, one way or another, some guardian angel will come down and pick me up and give me a gallery show, because I'd love to do that.
Since finishing the chair and holding his public viewing in January, Steven's continued to work on artwork, but says that there are no immediate plans to build anything else in the near future. He's been working on a series of artwork focused around the concept of a view through binoculars. You can keep up with Steven and his artwork via Facebook. The Bartow Art Guild is an excellent resource for emerging and established artists to get involved with local art events. Every year, the Guild holds its Bloomin Arts Festival right here in the streets of downtown Bartow. Artists come together to showcase their artwork for locals to come and view and maybe even buy for their own home. We made it out to the festival this year to show you what it has to offer.
This is our 45th annual Bloomin Arts Festival. It started with a committee of ladies out of the Bartow Art Guild, and it began. We've had great city support all 45 years, as well as Chamber of Commerce support. It's hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Bartow, the Bartow Art Guild, and Main Street Bartow. It's a multifaceted festival, fine arts and fine crafts, supplemented with a quilt show, a flower show, an antique car show, and live local entertainment. It's a year-round process. The executive committee meets all year round. The full committee meets about 9 months out of the year, planning the festival that you see today. A lot of work goes into it. There's about 30 people on the full committee.
This is my first time here as a vendor. I've visited when I was younger. I do woodwork. I've been doing it about 4 years. I fell in love with it about 4 years ago when I retired from the sheriff's office. And words can't describe how great it has been. You get to meet tons of new people. The shows are amazing. I love meeting and talking with people and just sharing my passion. I actually got involved with this trying to figure out what I wanted to do with myself when I retired, and always enjoying art and working with my hands. I decided I wanted to try lathe work. I mean, there was no push or anything for it. And so, of all things, I went on Craigslist and bought a little $100 lathe and tried my hand at it, and I haven't looked back. I've been hooked ever since. What I like about this show is, I would say everything from the selection process to the attendance. From start to finish, you can tell it's more of an upscale show. They're very particular. It's not craft, it's art. And so if you're looking for art, this is definitely one of the shows you would want to go to.
I took watercolor classes back when I was in college years ago, and I really liked it then. I thought, I want to get back into it. And I took a year off sabbatical from work and did nothing. I was a consultant, so I did a lot of work, traveling a lot. So I took a break and I picked up watercolor painting and love it. I see things, I always thought that would be an interesting painting or a subject. Things always occur to me. It was always in the back of my mind, how would I paint that? So the inspiration or the time to do it, thought, well, I'm not getting any younger and I can do whatever I want. And I thought I would try that. And I picked watercolor because actually, most people know it's probably one of the toughest mediums to learn. It's very difficult to learn. So that's why I got into watercolor painting. The reason that this is a fun event, first off, it's the best time of year for Florida, obviously. Weather is gorgeous. And also, if you look at the crowds that are here, it actually represents our community. Just walk up and down, you'll see people with canes and wheelchairs, all different nationalities, ethnics, you name it, right here in Polk County.
very happy with this year's event. The quality of the art is terrific. We've had a lot of great artists to choose from and selected what we feel is the best of the best and fits well with our market here. We're a very hospitable community. Artists tell us they feel like they're at home when they're here with us. So that's one of the reasons that we attribute a high return rate of artists. There's something different for everyone. One of my favorites is glass, and we've got terrific glass artists from a couple of different states, but we also have a nice mix of all different mediums of art. Arts are a great economic driver for the community. They also enrich our quality of life. It's just a multifaceted approach. And Bloomin Arts Weekend, we hear from a lot of our downtown vendors that it's merchants, not just vendors, but our permanent merchants, that Bloomin Arts Weekend is their best weekend of the year. And that's our goal, is to strengthen the community, bring a lot of people into Bartow that may not have ever been here before, and help them to fall in love with everything that Bartow and Polk County as a whole has to offer.
It's such a great location in the central part of the state. I'm almost afraid to talk it up too much because maybe too many people will come here. But I think it's one of the best kept secrets in Florida, my opinion.
Art is really, it's about expressionism. It's about sharing who we are, how we think, what we like about life, and what we like about the world we live in. So to not share art would, I think it's a travesty and it's an injustice, quite honestly.
We in Polk County do have some phenomenal artists and very creative.
It's about passion, and so I try to share my passion with others, and I think in doing so it can help other people find art within themselves.
It knows nothing about how much you make. It doesn't matter. There's artists that come from very humble backgrounds. It doesn't matter who you are, what age, what diversity. It doesn't matter. It's something that draws us together.
The Bartow Art Guild continues to stay active throughout the year, hosting a number of events and classes. You can find more information on these at www.bartowartguild.com. That's all the time I have for this month, but be sure to stay tuned to learn about some upcoming art events in the area. As usual, thanks for joining me, and tune in next time for more art out and about.